Good evening, dear friends. Hello. Welcome to another Spiritist magazine program here at Kardec Radio. I am with you from the Spirit Society of Richmond in Richmond, Virginia. It's such a blessing and an honor to be with you today as we will talk about one article from one of the issues of the Spiritist magazine. And today, the article is titled The Voice of the Garden Angel. Do you know, dear friends, you have a guardian angel? Sometimes we call them spirit guides, spirit mentors, right? There's so many ways we refer to our spirit friends who are with us each and every day of our lives. Able and ready to help us and guide us. This message is from issue 54. So if you were to visit spiritistmagazine.org, you'll find the link to purchase the physical copy, which I happen to have this physical issue of the magazine. It's all dedicated to mediumship. See, talk about adversaries, beautiful work of art, so much love, so much competent artists, very talented artists put their work and love into the magazine so that you and I can enjoy the content together. So if you visit spiritistmagazine.org, you'll be able to also download the app and download the PDF version of the magazine. So I'm going to share my screen with those who are watching so that we can read and discuss the issues together. So here we have this beautiful article titled The Voice of the Garden Angel. I happen to use an operating system that allows me to view the PDF version of the magazine. And we're just playing around with some things to make sure everything is working. So here we have, this is the cover of the magazine. Let me remove the banners for us so that we have a little more space. Here's the cover of the magazine. On the left side are the different thumbnails of the pictures that of each and every article has. And if you scroll down, you get to this article that is titled The Voice of the Garden Angel. A few more changes so we can see as many as we can. I want to remove the thumbnails or hide the sidebar in my case. Make it a little larger so we can enjoy the works today. This message was brought to you by the Spiritist magazine written and edited by Kardec, published in January of 1861. A long time ago, yet the most important message for us. We are undergoing the planetary transition, and where I am in the United States, we are a very critical time in our history as we enter the election week. It's very important that we remind ourselves that we are never alone, that we influence one another, that we have our spirit mentors and guides with us along the way, and they're helping us to navigate the different issues in our lives. So this is by this, not sure what happened there. Oh, it's okay. The computer told me that my file quit, which is fine. We are together and we are always overcoming the difficulties, if any, in our lives, right? The important part is that we are together. Even if I can't share it with you, I can read from the magazine because I also happen to have the physical copy of the magazine today. The voice of the garden angel is what the spirit Shannon through the medium Miss Huet brought to us today. So let's see what the Spirit Shannon has to say. Make myself smaller so the article can be bigger. He says, or she says, all human beings are mediums. Everyone has a spirit that directs them for the good when they know how to listen to it. Did you know that you are a medium? But Shane, I'm not a medium. I don't speak with the spirits. I don't see them. I don't hear them. That just means you're not an ostensive medium. In the medium's book, Kardec brought to us that we are all mediums. And the intuitive subliminal mediumship that all of us have, you also have. Perhaps it's the intuition, perhaps it's that idea that comes at the right time. Here is the Spirit Shannon telling us that we have a spirit that directs them for the good when we know how to listen to it. There are also different classes and types of spirits who are all around us as we learn from the Spirit's book, also from the Gospel according to Spiritism. Those are spirits who are enjoying the things that we enjoy, that partake in the things that we partake. There are our friends we call obsessors, or they help us progress. There's our familiar spirits, our sympathetic spirits, and then we have our protecting spirits. Our guardian angels is there. Your guardian angel is there. What is the implication of knowing this? Because it's beautiful for us to say, it's beautiful for us to quote, but I want you to think about this. Did I ever think that I had a spirit that is directing me? And your guardian angel is going to direct you to the good. It's their job. They are more elevated than you and I. How do we know that? Imagine someone who is by your side, who helped you devise your reincarnatory plan, and then they have to come and wait for us to listen to its advice. It's probably very difficult to do so. Just try not to interfere in someone's life that is around you, right? We always have an advice, an idea. We think we know best, but we have to think about we have free will. The guardian angel guides us, but we can say, no, 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 today I decide to go against your advice, and they have to restrain. If the spirit that is around you is very insistent and loud and telling you to do things, it's likely not your guardian angel. It's more likely a sympathetic spirit, a familiar spirit, or obsessor spirit who is interested in some specific outcome or some specific action. So in order to be our guardian angel, in order to be someone else's guardian angel, you have to be more elevated, because elevated spirits allow us to have free will. But do we think every day when we wake up, when we are getting ready, when we drive to work, or we drop off the kids, or we're a stay-home parent, or we're going about our day, do we think about asking guardian angel, what would be the best for me for this situation? Perhaps not, perhaps yes. So today that you won't be able to go back to not knowing. You're going to have to always take action. And now we are responsible for that knowledge. And he says, it matters little that some communicate directly with the guardian angels through a particular mediumship. Yes, there are some who can speak directly with them and then can hear their guidance and counsels directly. Others hear it through only the voice of the heart and intelligence. So that's that gut feeling, that intuition. You feel like you should do something, call someone, take an action, or sometimes not take the action. So there are many different ways that we can, throughout our days, to interact with our guardian angels. Nevertheless, you will not cease to be a familiar spirit that advises you. So they're saying, it's there. And dear friends, the presence of your guardian angel, as well as the fact that we reincarnate, that God exists, is independence of our will. So even if you don't believe in reincarnation, in guardian angels, and God, they are still there. The concepts are there, and they are influencing or trying to influence our lives. But now that we know, we can work on having those channels of communication opened. Call it spirit, reason, intelligence. It's always a voice that responds to your soul and say good words to you. Not only you do not always understand them, right? Because sometimes the voice is responding to questionings that we have. And how many times our questions and our um, asking of God and the superior spirits is not what is good for us, and then our wishes are denied or declined, and then we think God doesn't listen to us, but it isn't the right time, it's the right thing we're asking for. But it's always that voice that responds to our inquiries and is constantly inspiring us to do the good. Not everyone knows how to act according to the advice of that reason. Let's say, for example, if you today start listening to your intuition, to your ideas, to our thoughts, self knowledge, clearing the busy from our minds, meditating, good nutrition, sleep, exercise, so that we can be more balanced, would we do what the voice tells us to do? And it's not going to be a screaming voice, right? It says here, it's responding to us and saying good things to us. Screaming voices that are negative are also our own self obsession and the obsessors around us. It says, not everyone knows how to act according to the advice of that reason, not of the reason that drags on instead of marching, of the reason that is lost amid material and gross interests, but of the reason that elevates humanity above itself, that transports it to unknown regions. So it's about transcendence. So meaning you're gonna go farther than we came here to do. Remember the laws of progress. So if we are paying more attention, why did I come here? Because sometimes people ask me, what is my mission? Then we have to look at where is God allowing me to be? What are my abilities? Who is around me that I came to help? What are my actions that I consistently take that are not giving me the best results? What are the things that come to me that allow me to help others, so on and so forth? It says it's a sacred flame that inspires the artist and the poet. Divine thought that elevates the philosopher, and the impulse that drags individuals and peoples, reason that the common person cannot understand. This is common, right? We have artists all over the world having the same idea and putting them into actions in different ways. We have scientists and researchers working on solutions to the problems of the earth, and then spirits come and inspire them, and one of them gets to do it and publish. But that brings human beings closer to divinity than any other creature. So we want to listen to the voice and have this be the conduit of the good. So the question is, when I go to the Spirit's book and learn about the divine laws, and then Kardec and the Spirits tell us, good is following the law, evil is deviating from the law. So each action that we do in our lives, we have to see, am I violating any of those laws? And then every time I choose not to violate the law, to fulfill the law of goodness, then I progress. And then I'll get closer and closer to divine. Jesus, as a Christ spirit, is close to God, knows of God, and is bringing God's will to the earth through his leadership as the spiritual governor of the planet. And what else is this voice? It is the understanding that knows how to lead you from the known to the unknown, making you perform the most sublime acts. Friends, there's no guardian angel inspiring us to do things that are not sublime. No guardian angel is helping us hurt others, take from others, commit acts of crime. Guardian angels are trying to prevent us from doing those things and to perform the better acts, which are the sublime acts. Here, then, that inner voice, it's inside of us. We are immersed in God's providence, this universal universal cosmic fluid that is around us. It's like we're fish in the ocean. We're immersed in God's love. God is inside of us. It transcends us. We have the gene of divinity inside of us. So we have the potential to have the sublime acts in every single action in our lives. Don't be discouraged. We are not there yet. There are moments where we are not able to do this, but there will be one day where we're so in attunement with God that we will be able to say, God, if possible, take this from me, but may it be your will be done. Right? Like Jesus taught us on the Father, in our Father's prayer. Hear then that inner voice, but in order to hear the inner voice, we have to calm everything else, meaning I'm not constantly, because we are addicted to busy, we are addicted to stimuli, we're addicted to the dopamine hit of our cell phones and tablets. We need to transcend, turn them off, curate the feed, not be glued to them, so on and so forth. The good genius that speaks to you without ceasing, so they are there all the time. I'll give you a practical example before we continue. In the book Life Goes On, Evelyn and Ernest find themselves in the spiritual realm after they discarnate, coincidentally from the same disease. The Life Goes On book is the last one in the Andrea Louis series. And then in the spiritual realm, after they recover, they understand their situation, they're able to be granted that merit and work, and they go visit their families. And then throughout the book, you see Evelyn and Ernest speak. They're not guardian angels, but they go and inspire their family members to do the right things, like the adoption, the choosing of paternity and maternity. And at the end, they commit, spoiler alert, they commit to helping the family for 30 years because they have to ensure that those who are incarnate, those who are planned to reincarnate, those who discarnate, they all have to meet so that their reincarnatory plan of growing up, being incarnated, growing up, meeting and forming a family and moving on gets established. So they will be there guiding and guiding. There's one beautiful scene where Evelyn inspires her mother and her stepdad to adopt a child that happens to be someone related to them that in their family circle. You're going to have to go and read about it. So that is the inner voice that inspires us to do the good. It's not the voice that tells you to fight your neighbor, the person in traffic, the one who votes differently than me, to have this division between us and them where we think we're so different that we have to fight one another, where we need unity to continue the work of the brain of the planet in the United States where I am. In each and every country has their mission, but the US has the brain, meaning we are exporting ideas, we are taking care of things, we are the command center, where other places are the heart. We are a living, breathing organism on the earth. And a lot of our boundaries are also man-made. If you look at the picture that Armstrong took when he went to the moon of the earth, we're just a blue dot. There's no country lines. And nowadays, with the wars, the famines, and the interactions, the bellicose interactions of one another on the earth, we are trying to redraw those lines all the time. But that's human. nature. That's the force of darkness inspiring the worst in us. The guardian angels take us to sublime actions. That's what is important to go to the Spiritist Center, to the synagogue, to the church, whatever religious institution you follow, because you can follow them and also be a Spiritist, right? We learn in the book What is Spiritism by Allan Kardec. Then, through community, through helping one another, we can overcome the difficulties and understand what did we come here to. And our guardian angels are the one of the most important aspects, which is the guidance, right? We need guidance. We're still in infancy in our evolution as a spirit, so we need a guidance. So the Spirit Shannon says, hear then that inner voice, that good genius that speak to you without ceasing, and you gradually come to hear your guardian angel who stretches out its hand from the heaven above. So this is a gradual opportunity of self-knowledge, of discipline, of knowing what is mine, what is others. We are consistently exchanging through our thoughts and emotions everything that is around us. We are picking up from others and we're exporting. So what we will choose today between now and next week, which is for me will be election day, a very important moment in our history in the US. What are you going to choose to export from our brains? And why do I say this? If you're watching this from other countries, I apologize, but I have to bring this to reality is we are interconnected. We learned this from COVID. What happens elsewhere in the world affects us. What happens here affects other places. There's only so much shielding we can do because we are a globalized society and economy and culturally. So we have to pray for one another, regardless of the labels we give ourselves in this life and the geographic locations we live in. We have to be collaborative. The forces of darkness want us to divide. We want to unite. Jesus came, didn't come alone. He chose his parents, the place he was going to be born. He has his apostles, male and female. He did his ministry with the help of others. So you and I are here to fulfill that law of society where I complement you, you complement me. So let's choose to hear the voices of our guardian angels and use the power of our thoughts, the power of prayer to export the best inside of us, praying for the whole earth to be enveloped in the light of goodness that comes from Jesus and his many ministers fulfilling God's will on earth. Dear friends, here is our message for today. May you and your guardian angel start this beautiful interaction, strengthen the interaction if it already exists, and may you stay well. May we all stay safe, and may we all take care of one another. God willing, I'll return next week with another Spiritist Magazine program. I'll see you then. Bye bye.